which is the Philippine Mangrove Map 2023, which is a product of citizen science to AI-driven solutions. So I'm Cristan Dave Zablan. I'm a project technical specialist one at the Philippine Space Agency. So, although to those who do not know, mangroves provide a lot of benefits. They are bastions against water-related disasters. They are homes to different kinds of marine species and even migratory birds. They are also warriors against climate change, storing so much carbon more than regular forests. Unfortunately, in the past 2 decades, we have lost a lot of mangroves, around 29,000 hectares. And these regions who have lost mangroves experience climate change impacts such as more rainfall, warmer ocean temperatures, and even increase in severe weather occurrences. So we know that there is a need to conserve these important ecosystem, and who are responsible for it? First, the government. They are the ones who promulgate laws, regulations that help conserve these areas. And we have scientists who develop methodologies to make sure that these efforts are at their perfect shape. And lastly, the people who are on the ground doing the necessary activities that you cannot do remotely. So, as an agency, the Philippine Space Agency, a government agency full of scientists, we have this role to utilize what we know, our sciences, which is satellite technology, for national development. So that's why we create different kinds of maps from satellite imagery for climate, for disasters, for environment, for agriculture, among others. So last March 2023, we formed a partnership with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or the DNR, to develop an artificial intelligence model, specifically a machine learning model that utilizes satellite imagery so that we can monitor continuously our mangrove forests. So how do we do this? We basically give them teaching points or points. We feed these points to our artificial intelligence or our machine learning model, teaching them what is a mangrove based on color and what is not a mangrove, again, based on color. And it is important to incorporate the ground truth perspective because from this satellite imagery, it's really hard to distinguish what a mangrove forest is from other regular trees or other trees. And basically, we did this thousands of times. We feed the artificial intelligence model more than thousands of points. And this is kind of impossible to do for a young agency since we were just established 5 years ago. That's why we created a campaign. And to do this campaign of data collection and crowdsourcing, it has to start with capacity building. So we capacitated different offices, the DNR, the LGUs, and other partner offices on how they can help completing the mangrove map of 2023. So, and we use this tool, which is the ODK, which is similar to Kobo Toolbox, but it's actually the progenitor of Kobo Toolbox. So through this ODK app, we created a form where we can collect data like photos, location, the kind of tree presence such as mangroves, coconut trees, nipa palms, among others, and the direction, the canopy density, the species, which we would like to thank ZSL for providing perfect images for our field workers to have a guide on what they are looking at and other kinds of information in the form. So again, this was a crowdsourcing campaign which we entitled Baka One, which is one mangrove map for everyone. We call on volunteers across the nation to use the tool to collect data that we will feed to our artificial intelligence model. So we are so grateful to these Baka One volunteers for braving against the nature and the elements, submerging themselves to waters. And we're just so proud that they have so much love for our mangrove forest and for our environment. And because of their efforts, we were able to unveil the Philippine Mangrove Map 2023 at the National Museum of Natural History. And we were able to map 327,000 hectares of a mangrove forest across the country's 30 million hectares of land. So, just in summary, the Philippine Mangrove Map is founded on everyone's passion for mangroves. So, it is a nationwide effort of scientists, of citizens, and the government. So, what did I learn from this activity? First, the people are more passionate about mangroves more than we think. This was the first nationwide campaign for national, at least a national mapping activity, and we just didn't expect to gain this much contribution. So we were really kind of surprised that people are really so passionate about our environment. Second, the government is powerful. This wouldn't have happened if if our agencies didn't do our best to promulgate this such activity that help conserve our mangrove forests. And lastly, everyone can be a scientist as long as there is capacity. We did capacity building, as I have mentioned a while ago, and from that we learned from the locals on what are the mangrove status across the nation, and at the same time we teach them on what are the new technologies that help us monitor these important forests. So we hope that this initiative becomes a trailblazer for other large-scale mapping activities in the future. So stay tuned to our Philippine Space Agency activities. So what's next? We actually recently launched the seagrass and coral mapping last March 4, 2025. Now we are collecting data not just from mangrove forests, but now including other blue carbon ecosystems such as the seagrass, and even the other coastal marine ecosystems such as corals. We are also promulgating the land cover, forest, and crop mapping services with POFL, which is a European partnership with us, the Philippine Space Agency, and the Department of Science and Technology. So if you want to watch the campaign video or the tutorial video for the seagrass and coral mapping using ODK, you can scan the QR code, and if you have time, you can watch it. I'm going to skip that video since I don't think I have time. So here were my references. That's it. Again, thank you so much for listening to this presentation. And again, we would like to thank the Bakawan volunteers for helping us out completing the 2023 Philippine Mangrove Map.